We're rolling everything, so.
Everything is rolling. If you are set, I'm going to count backwards here, and we will do it in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. This Week in America on the Blue Funk Broadcasting Radio Network. Great to have you with us on the program today. Website thisweekinamerica.us. As mentioned, back with us on the program is W.L. Laney, and we've got a free copy of his books, The Phoenix Success Story, for anybody that calls this week after hearing the program. W.L., welcome back to the program. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Rick. It's my pleasure and privilege to be here.
Well, you helped so many people the last time, and we want to continue that discussion. I mentioned in the beginning the childhood you went through, the alcoholic father, abusive father, a migrant worker, and turning your life around there, and a couple of other times we'll get into later in your life. That first time when you grew up in poverty and you had the problems that you had to go through, what motivated you to decide, I'm not going to live like this? Because for so many, that attitude is embedded in them, and that's pretty much the rest of their lives.
Yes, I was fortunate, Rick. My stepfather had a successful brother. In fact, all of his family was quite successful. He was the black sheep of the family, if you will. And I was fortunate enough that even though I was living in the migrant worker shack, it was on my step-uncle's orchard. And I was able, from my vantage point when I was pulling weeds out from around the little apple trees up on the hill, I was able to look down to the lake and see where his beautiful home was on the lake. So I was able to look at my stepfather, who was, the alcoholic and abusive and all of those things, but I was also able to see the other side of life. Although it was from a distance, I was able to see that, and that's what I think motivated me initially to, hey, there's something better. I don't have to live like this.
Well, it's an interesting perspective then, because you could look basically over one shoulder and see where I am now, and I really don't want to be here, over the other shoulder and go, there's my motivation. That's what I want to do in a few years.
Exactly. And it was a tremendous motivator. I mean, you look at the life of luxury and you look at the life of poverty side by side. How hard is it to decide which way you want to go?
Exactly. We're talking This Week in America. Our guest is W.L. Laney. His website is WLLaney.com. Information, you can go to his toll-free number, 855-WL-Laney. His book is The Phoenix Success Strategy. A lot of great information in there. It's a step-by-step guide. We're going to be talking about it on the program. You can get a free copy by going to the website or calling 855-WL-Laney. That's 855-955-2639. And I want to talk about people that find themselves, which you did, in a position, especially over the last 5 or 6 years. Maybe things were going in the right direction, and suddenly, through no fault of your own, the economy turns bad. You're an older worker. You may be out of work. You may have been counting on your investments, which suddenly there are no more investments to fall back on. Let's talk about what you're saying is, maybe if you lost the job, it's not the worst thing in the world, because here's a real opportunity to go out and to really find success.
I think that's absolutely correct, Rick. A lot of people are lured into a false sense of security. They have a job, even though they don't like it, even though it's not paying them the kind of money that they would really like to have, and they're living in fear of being laid off or outsourced or whatever. But there's enough security there that they keep hanging on. And the individual who gets fired or laid off, all of a sudden, the security is completely gone. Now it's time to wake up and say, all right, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? Am I going to continue doing this same cycle over and over again? Am I going to go out and try to look for another job? Or am I going to take control of my financial future and build my own security through business ownership?
Well, and you went through complete financial ruin. We talked about it on the past program, which is up on YouTube and in the archive. You went through total financial destruction. So you really had to figure a way, basically, to reinvent yourself.
Absolutely. And it's a little difficult to talk about it because nobody wants to talk about their failures. However, I think that the only way that I'm really able to help other people is if I am totally open and honest with anybody that I talk to and explain, hey, bad things happen, and you're not going to get anywhere blaming anybody else for it. You know, I could sit back and say, oh, it was the economy, it was 9/11, and you know, I can give you a whole list of things, but the important thing is I had to accept personal responsibility for my future. There was nothing I could do about the past. That was gone. The transaction that I was working on was gone. My business was gone. My home was being foreclosed on. My car didn't run. I had to do something, and I had to do it now. And that's what the Phoenix Success Strategy is all about, is I just go through all the steps that I went through. I identified something that I could do today to earn money, to make the money that I needed to buy groceries and pay the utilities.
A free copy of that book, The Phoenix Success Strategy, you could get by calling 855. It's a toll-free number, 855 W.L. Laney, Laney, W.L. Laney. That number is 855-955-2639 or 855-WL Laney. Information at our website, thisweekinamerica.us. I read a statistic, and this was from a couple of years ago, but almost 3 out of 10 new businesses, entrepreneurs, were people in between the ages of 55 and 64. And that's really frightening because for most of those people, they've been a worker throughout their lives. They're at the point where they thought they were going to start settling down, and now they're trying to put a business together. In the book, The Phoenix Success Strategy, you talk about a blueprint to launch a business in under 45 days. Let's talk about that. How realistic is that to put things together where basically in a month and a half, I'm going to have my own business?
It depends on what kind of a business you're going to try to do. I have a business package that I sell, which is the model of what I did, and I provide all of the equipment and the training and everything so that you can just come to Colorado for a week of training, go home with the equipment, and go out and make money immediately. Those same steps can be taken in hundreds of different business opportunities. All you have to do is sit down and identify, all right, what is it that I can do or can learn to do that is going to generate cash for my family? Then look for the marketplace for it. Who is going to be willing to pay me? Right? So you've been working your entire life. You work for somebody else. You go in, you put in your hours. At the end of the week, you draw your paycheck. You go home and, have a great weekend. As a business owner, you're going to be doing some of the same things. You're going to be performing a service to somebody who is willing to pay for it. You just cut out the middleman, your boss. So there's more money for you. Yes, there's more risk. There's more responsibility, but you control your future. You're the one that's in control, and that's the joy, one of the joys of being a business owner.
Well, and you talk about, I think we mentioned it on the last program, one of the first things you need to do is to change that mindset and to think like a boss. We're programmed to think like a worker. You need to reprogram so you're thinking like a boss.
Yes, and I have another book that's available on Kindle, and it is called The Self-Administered Attitude Transplant, which is a great book to read if you want to try to figure out how to start thinking like an entrepreneur or an owner rather than an employee. Another statistic that is pretty interesting is that 70% of people who win a lottery, some large amount of money, 70% lose it all and end up actually in worse position than they were before, which brings me back to remembrance of Jim Rowland, who used to say, you have to start thinking like a millionaire before you get the money. If you don't, you're going to lose it. So it's important that you understand that there's a complete different mindset between the employee and the business owner. And like you said, you've got to start thinking like an owner and acting like an owner if you expect to find any kind of success in the business world.
You're listening to This Week in America on the Blue Funk Broadcasting Radio Network. Our website, thisweekinamerica.us. Our guest back on the program is W.L. Laney, He's the author of the book, The Phoenix Success Strategy. That book is available, a free copy, by calling 855-WL Laney, 855-WL Laney. His website is WLLaney.com. Of course, go to our website. You can link on and get all that information. We're talking about it. If you just joined us, W.L.'s story of coming from rather dire circumstances as a young person, being very successful, losing it all, and starting all over again. And the book goes through step by step what he did to get back where he is now, which is at the top. And you discuss in the book the top 5 criteria of the perfect business. What are some of the things that we should be looking for in trying to find a good match for us?
I think the most important thing, Rick, is whatever business that you're going to work in, make sure that it is a recession-proof or at least recession-resistant business. You don't want to go into the construction business, for example, just before a housing crisis. You've worked hard, you've done all the right things, and the economy just destroys you. Look for something that is recession-resistant or recession-proof. And the way to do that is just historically look at what industries survive very strongly or even thrive when everybody else is failing. And, I did it in the beauty industry. Beauty industry is great. I work with hairstylists. Their business continues to go and grow regardless of the economy, because everybody's hair grows. You need to go in to get your hair cut, get your hair done. And, in fact, when times are tough, sometimes the female will spend more money on beauty than she would in good times because she doesn't have the money to go buy a new car, so she'll get a new hairdo. So find something that is recession-resistant or at least recession-proof. And then I think it should be a service business. A service business is something that can't be outsourced. It can't be made... It can't go out of business by automation. They can't replace you with a robot. So look for something that's a service business. Look for something where the customers are easy to reach. Look for something where you can do a value added. You can add something to it. You can do something better or for less money than the competition can. Make your competition irrelevant by the improvements that you make to a specific industry niche.
All of this information available in the book, The Phoenix Success Strategy. It's available free by calling 855-WL Laney, 855-WL Laney, or 855-955-2639, or calling or going to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, and a link on there. You talk about really the fact of trying to find something that's recession-proof. For so many of us, we go like there's really no job security anymore. Again, that should go in a factor into our decision as to what type of business we're going to get into, trying to find something that will give us some security.
Absolutely. And there's all kinds of things. Just you look for what people need, what they're willing to pay for, and look for a way that you can reach that customer base with relative ease. You don't want to start a business where you're going to have to enter some massive advertising program in order to be successful. Find something where the customer is going to be easy to reach, even if it's your next door neighbor. You're struggling. You're on unemployment. Your unemployment is running out. The bills are mounting up. You're in risk of losing your house. Don't just sit there. Get out and do something, even if it's starting a lawn mowing service, helping your neighbors, or a pool service, or a dog walking service, or whatever. Just look around you, be creative, and try to see what is it that people are spending money on, or what would they like to be relieved from, some duty that they're performing that they would like to be relieved of, and fill that niche. It works. It's worked for thousands of people across the country. Businesses are started every day just by somebody looking to fill a need that their neighbor may have.
We've got a couple minutes left in the program. You also talk about money not being the problem. Explain what you mean by that.
Well, money is never the problem. It's our attitude toward the money. It's our attitude toward what we are willing to do one of the things that I talk about in the book is you have to be willing to do whatever it takes. And some people are just not willing to do that. When I was growing up as a child, I was willing to do whatever people needed done. If they needed their lawn mowed, I'd mow their lawn. If they needed their car washed, I'd wash their car. If they needed a ditch dug, I dug the ditch. It didn't matter what it was. I really didn't even worry too much about how much I was going to get paid. I just wanted to do something that I was going to get paid for, and I would do whatever. I haven't thought about this for a long time, but I can tell you the worst job in the world is cleaning out the duck pens at the dude ranch. But anyway, you've got to be willing to do whatever it takes to get yourself past whatever the financial crisis is today, because there's lots of money. Everybody's got money to spend. It doesn't matter. It's there. Find a way to reach out and perform a service that somebody is willing to pay for.
The book is called The Phoenix Success Strategy. It's written by W.L. Laney. It's an easy-to-read book. It's a step-by-step guide in starting your own business. It's one that he has followed to success once again. The Phoenix Success Strategy. You can get a free copy by calling 855-WL-LANEY, 855-WL-LANEY, or 855-955-2639. Of course, go to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, and you can link on and get all that information. WL, quite a bit of information there once again. We look forward to having you back on the program. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for the free book for the listeners.
Thank you, Rick. Glad to be here. Hey, do I have 30 seconds to tease everybody?
Go ahead. Tease me, too.
All right. The business package that I have to offer is less than $30,000, and you can go out and earn $100,000 your first year. Money's not the problem. It's just a matter of going out and doing it. You can do it with my package. You can build your own package. It's there. You have hope today.
And this is the same blueprint that you followed.
Yes.
You heard it. Get more information at WLLaney.com or the phone number 1-855-WL-LANEY, 855-WL-LANEY. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you for listening, everybody. You're listening to This Week in America on the Blue Funk Broadcasting Radio Network. Good job. Thank you.
Okay, did we do better this time?
I think so. I thought we did okay the last time. We just didn't get anybody apparently to go by the book. So.
Hope so. Okay, turn that recording off so we don't need to record anymore. Okay, what did it sound like over there, Bill?
Sounded good in here.